Sisters, thank you. There are still some men sitting on that side. Please, could you offer those seats to the ladies?
Shall we? So the lady starts to cry. It's an anti-climax to what she had expected. Jesus was watching her from wherever he was, not from heaven, but from this earth. You see, this tomb was a privately owned property belonging to Joseph of Arimathea, a secret disciple of Jesus, a very rich, influential Jew who could afford to carve out of a rock a big roomy chamber, which according to Jim Bishop, a Christian authority, he says it was 5 feet wide by 7 feet high by 15 feet deep with a ledge or ledges inside. Around that tomb was his vegetable garden. Now don't tell me that this Jew was so generous, he was planting vegetables 5 miles out of town for other people, sheep and goats to graze upon. I know Jews don't do that. No Christians, no Muslims will do silly things like that. He must have got his gardener's quarters, people to look after his garden, and perhaps his country home where he went during the weekend for his holidays with his family. Jesus is there. He sees this woman. He knows who she is. And he comes up to her. And he says, Fro, waarom ween jij, wie zoek jij? He says, woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? I'm asking, doesn't he know? Why does he ask such a silly question? He knows that she's looking for him. And he knows she's disappointed, she's crying. Why does he ask such a silly question? I said, no, it's not a silly question. Actually, he's pulling her leg, metaphorically. He's still got the sense of humor. He says, Fro, waarom ween je, wie zoek je? Zij het gedink dat die tuinier was. She supposing him to be the gardener. I said, why does she suppose he's a gardener? Do resurrected bodies look like gardeners? Do they? That everybody, all of us, when we are resurrected, everybody will look like a gardener. So the wife can't make out her husband. She doesn't know the difference between the husband and the son-in-law. She's confused. And her grandfather and her father, everybody is the same. All gardeners. No. The resurrected body will be you yourself. Everybody will recognize you. You'll be the real you, not this camouflage. This is camouflage. It's changing all the time. The real you, the real me, you'll find. You'll recognize one another, inshallah. So she's supposing him to be the gardener. Says, Sir, meneer, as ye hom weggedra het, if you have taken him hence, say for me, waar ye hom neergelegd het. Tell me, where have you laid him? To rest, to relax, to recuperate, and excel hom weggeneem. And ek, alone. Sal hom, him, not it, a dead rotting body. Weggeneem. That I may take him away. I said, where? What does she want to do with a dead rotting body? After 3 days. Take him home, put him under a bed, pickle him. What does she want to do with a rotting body, I ask you? No, she's not looking for a dead rotten body. She's looking for a live person. She was about the only woman besides Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus who had given the final rites to the body of Jesus. She was there. So if she had seen signs of life, she was not going to shout and tell the Jews, he's alive, because they'll make doubly sure that they kill him. So after 3 days, she goes there and she wants to handle him, treat him, help him, take him away for treatment. And excel home, weggeneem. The joke has gone too far. So Jesus says, Mary. The way he said Mary, she recognized that this is Jesus. You know, all of us, we have our unique ways of calling our near ones, our dear ones. We have. I might know your wife's name, but the way you call her and the way I'm going to call that name is not the same. You agree? We have our unique ways, everybody. So he says Mary, the way he said Mary, she recognized Jesus. So she wants to grab him. To do what? To bite him? No, to pay respects. We Eastern people, his master, her master. So he says, Raak me ni ani, touch me not. I say, why not? Is he a bundle of electricity, a dynamo, that if she touches him, she'll get electrocuted? No. Then I say, why not? I say, because it hurts. You tell me why. for I am not yet ascended unto my Father. As is she blind? Can't she see the man is standing there beside her? What does it mean, I'm not gone up when he's here? I say, in the language of the Jew, in the idiom of the Jew, he's saying, I am not dead yet. So, from there we find, he tells her, gives her advice to go and tell his brethren that he is risen. So she goes and tells them. An amazing thing. These disciples of Jesus. Amazing reactions. Mark chapter 16 verse 11. And they, the disciples, when they heard that he was alive, A-L-I-V-E, alive, not resurrected. This is the scripture, Mark 16:11, that he was alive and had been seen by her, by Mary Magdalene. She says she saw him alive. They believed not. The Bible says they didn't believe. The woman says, look, I saw him, he's alive. He said, no, they didn't believe it. Why didn't they believe? She's testifying that, look, I met him, I spoke to him. And they didn't believe. Why would they not believe? Because at the back of their minds, this man Jesus was dead. And she's talking about a live person. If she had said she's seen the ghost of Jesus, the spook of Jesus, the spirit of Jesus, they would have believed. But she's not talking about spook and ghost and khiyas. She's talking about the man, he's alive. Because they believe spirits going into pigs. It's in the Bible. The spirits went into pigs and 2,000, I heard of them, they ran down the hill and they all got drowned. Spirits going into pigs, they saw. They saw with their own eyes, spirits going into pigs. They saw a spirit going into trees and tying them up from the very roots. They saw. They believe anything. But to believe that the living Jesus is alive, that they couldn't believe. If she said, I saw his spook, they would have believed. His spook was all right, but not him. No, look, I'm only quoting. She said, he's alive, and they didn't believe. The disciples wouldn't believe. He's going to Emmaus. On the way to Emmaus, he's got two disciples of his walking side by side. And he's preaching to them about what had happened the previous 3 days. 5 miles they walk, and they still can't recognize the man. I ask you why. He's disguised like Paul Mooney in The Good Earth. I don't know whether it's, hey, he looks like a real The King and I. What's that? Jules Brenner. You know, when these guys, when they take those parts, you think the guy is Indonesian or Indo-Chinese, Siamese, the Siamese king. You believe that when you see the guys on the screen, you believe that the guy is a Siamese king when he's a European and a Jew. Jules Brenner. When he acts the part of Pharaoh in the 10 Commandments, you think that he is Pharaoh, he's an Egyptian. No, they're so realistic. So Jesus Christ has got such a fantastic disguise. He's talking with his disciples 5 miles and they don't recognize the man. Why? Because he's disguised, not because he's resurrected. He's disguised. So when they reach Emmaus, he makes it that he's going to carry on. So they say, come, it's time to eat. Come and join us. So he's persuaded. When he's persuaded, and it came to pass, Luke tells us, chapter 24, verse 30. And it came to pass, as he sat eating with them, he took bread and blessed it. They said, the manner in which he brake bread, the eyes were opened. It means, what does it mean, the eyes were opened? It means they recognized the man. It didn't mean they were walking 5 miles with eyes closed. Look, this is a figure of speech. It means now they recognized the man, the eyes were open, not that they were walking 5 miles with closed eyes. The eyes were open. They recognized the man. So when they recognized the man, Jesus vanished. What did he do? The Indian rope trick? You know, going up the rope and vanishing? No. He vanished means he went away out of sight. So these disciples, they run to that upper room where they had the Last Supper and they find the others there. There were other 8 there. 8 were there. And they go and tell them, say, you know Jesus, he was with us and he sat down to eat. And you know the way he was breaking bread and the way he was blessing it. Like we say, Bismillah. They say, Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu malach haolam hamotzi lacham min haaretz. This is the Hebrew way of saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Get started. So the way he said it, they recognized that this is Jesus. So he vanished. They said, man, these guys now are in danger. They might go and tell everybody and I get into trouble. So they run to